So yesterday we tried to cover most of generic things. Only pending part is how to build a job, how to call the job outside. Okay, and we need to cover few components. So let's first we'll target the basic components which we need to see in regular life. So I'm just marking data to use a few components which usually we see, right, like aggregation functions, or you want to sort the data in db, you are going to do ordered by descending order, ascending order. Same way any etl is going to have a component to sort the data. In general, in database, it's easy, so you just use that order by keyword and all. So if there is a files or some file related, mainly file related, you don't have that order of data maybe. So some people will not give in a sorted data, so you have to improve the performance, or you have to perform some kind of operations. So you have to sort before processing into next, like calculation part or something. So for that, so even if you have files, maybe sorted data will come or not sorted data. So but in Talend or any ETL tool, you will have a component to sort the data. So how to sort the data? And now you can see, right, my employee IDs are not in a order. So you can see two after one, like that. I have some data, but I want to sort this data in output. I want to see the sort data. So how we are going to see that sorted data? So it's very simple, pretty simple. Just I think you guys can able to manage with this knowledge, but still I'm trying to cover how to sort and aggregate and what kind of aggregations we can perform and all. Okay, so I have a file. So when you have a file, what we have to do? So we have to go to the metadata, and you have to get that file into your uh, metadata. And delimiter, I have used a comma separator. Okay. So we have a department and employee ID and salary, something age. So by default it took integer. Okay, name alone string. So okay, so I'm going to drag this employee data. So first I want to sort the data. So you can see the component sort data. I want to sort by employee ID. So employee ID is going to be unique, right? So here you can see that what you want to, based on what column or number of columns you can add in generally. Whatever you added, like first column, that is going to be followed by the component to sort the data. So you can add a number of, but it will always pick up from the first field which you are going to add in your sorted order. So just we are going to add department id. We'll see how it is going to be. So department id is not in a order, right? So 10 20 10 10 20 30 like that. So we want to see ascending order of department id, and parallelly I want to add employee id also, ascending order employee id. Okay, so I want to see this data. Nothing else we have to take care, like it's just a sorting. So you are just sorting data based on which column you want to sort the data. You can sort it, just passing that criteria. So you can have this here, right? If it is a numeric, you have to select numeric. If it is a character, then you have to select alpha. If it is a date, any date field you have to sort the data. You want to filter, like you want to filter data based on ascending or descending, you can select the date field. So advanced settings, nothing. So here, right, to improve the performance, you want to store. If you have a huge millions of data is coming from your input, so you want to store temporary location onto the mission where the job is running. You can select that sort on desk and you can pass the path. Same thing we have seen in tmap also. If you have a lookups and huge data, you can have that store on disk. So one of the performance on component level, if you are using a tmap, any processing component, always you check there is a disk, sort on disk. So sort on disk, what it will do, it will cache the data in the temporary, and then it will start processing. So instead of directly row by row it is processing, it will store in a temporary location. So you can just use this option. Right now I am unchecking. You no need to do anything, just you can pass the path where your job is running. It's going to be a context path. So you can give the temp path or something. It will automatically read from your context file, and it will try to create the temporary cache files, and it will delete automatically once the process is completed. Okay, right now we don't need you are not going to see what is going to happen. If you have a millions of data, you can use that sort on disk. In tmap and tsort row, these kind of components, you can see that sort on disk. So sort on disk will help you to improve the performance of your job. And I'm using log row. Just I want to see how that is sorted data looks like. Can see, right? So now whatever I explained, right? So if you give two or three IDs also, the like whatever logical algorithm they have implemented, you can see, right? The ID is not in a ascending order, only department ID only order. So that is where you, if you have a number of columns also, it will go and check on the first column which you have provided. So if you want on ID, you can just give an ID, and then you can do that ascending. So multiple columns, it will not help. So it will just do that on the first column which you are going to pass in the sort row component. That only will be the sorted data. So multiple columns, it will be not going to, like it will be confusion, right? So which one I have to based on sort. So always it will go on a first column which you are configured in. So now you can see, right, 1 2 3 4 5 6, it is a sorted data ascending order, and it is not consider this department one. So which column you want to sort the data, so which is a unique, always you are going to sort the data unique column. That is what here you have to understand. Department is not going to be unique, or department is not going to have like a unique and all. So if you want unique column, you want to sort order, then you go for employee id. Or you want to just based on department id, or you are performing some department on top of the department data, then you can sort on department data, not about unique column or something. So it depends on scenario. You can select which column can help you to make the order of data and so that you can perform next component. So that is what sort row. So you want to see descending order, you can select the descending order. You can just go and change here order. So this we used to perform in SQL itself. If it is you have a SQL components like a Oracle or a kind of MySQL or whatever, you just source itself. You can put order by whatever column you are looking for order. So you can just select it. So sort row when you are going to use, if that is not relational database or some technologies which cannot have sorting data, then you are going to use the uh, sort component. Okay, so now you can see that ascending descending order, so 7 6 5 4 3 t like that. So that is how you are going to sort the data in between, right? So if it is in a source, you are can able to perform, but still in middle of your process, still you want to do some sort based on some column, then still you can go and use the sort row component. But when you are using, so it is going to take the some memory and all, it is going to be a little like it's going to compare, right, each and every row. So use that sort row on disk, sort store on disk component, which will sort on disk will help you to improve the little performance. Likewise, you see, right, tmap, whatever processing components, you just check the there is a option to store on disk or sort on disk, whatever option you are going to see, try to utilize that. It will give the little bit performance. Even interview also, what kind of performance improve, you can say, if the component has any store on disk temporary location, I'm going to use that, which will make the life easy to process the data, to compare the data between the rows, and it will try to parse the data and all. You can explain that performance technique. One of the thing, each component level, if you is there any store on disk option is there or not. So now I'm going to remove this. So I want to perform some aggregations. So always we'll do in a like in, if you have again, so in between you want to perform any aggregations, we are going to use a ETL component. Any tool you will have a aggregation transformation or a transformation components which can help you to perform the aggregation. If it is a SQL something, people will prefer to do that in a SQL itself. To it will be performance wise, it will be faster than any tool. So SQL is going to be a little faster. So ETL main purpose to be transformation, these kind of aggregations or sorting data, these things you can able to perform in your while you are reading source itself, or while you are loading, you can get that from source itself. So aggregation component, you can see, right, whenever you are doing any aggregation operation, you have to group by the key field or whatever fields you are doing, and you can see that operations, what are the operations in SQL. Also you can able to see some max, minimum, average, count, these kind of aggregations functions you are going to see in SQL. Same thing in your here also you can find the same kind of components, same kind of functions. So you can see here, right? So what output column, what is your function you want to apply on that column, and what is the input column. So output column is, you can name it anything, and you can perform whatever operation you want to perform, and you can pass the input column. So if the data has any nulls, you want to omit or you want to ignore that fields, you can select that ignore null option. And always when you are doing any aggregations, you have to give the group. So we group of, so group set of records you are performing some operations. So common column you have to pass as a key column or whatever, key column or a group column. So set of, for example, in our data, right? So I want to perform on a particular department sum of salaries, or particular department count of employees. So it's going to be a group of records. That's where always when you are using any aggregation function, you have to pass the group columns list. So you will have that select star from select employee ID, count of employee ID from employee name, group by employee ID, like that you are going to have that group by functionality in SQL, right? Same way in component also, on set of records only we are going to perform. Individual records, why we need to perform the sum, average, max. So if there is a one record, how do you know which is a max record? That is only max record, right? So always if you have a set of records, then only you will perform this kind kind of aggregations. So which is a group of records you are going to perform the data. If it is a single record, why we have to perform the max salary, count of salary, or min of salary? No need to, right? So always set of records or a group of records in there in your data. You want to group that records, and you want to get the out of them, you have to get that some kind of functionalities like a sum, count, these things. So in our case, I just want to apply two or three operations which can perform on department. So department is a group. So a group of records I can sort by department. So only if I use the department only, I can able to perform some kind of things, because set of records I'll get from group. So now I selected 10. You can see 3 records are with 10, and 20 records with 20 department have 2 records, 30 has 1 record. So like that you are going to group the based on which column is going to get set of records. So if you go on id, you can use id. So id is a individual, so each and every record has a it's individual, so you cannot perform. So group records you can able to perform on department. So you have to use group field is a department, so that will that will group the set of records. So department id is my group field. Group by I want to perform on department id, and I want to add what I want to add is so I want to remove these things. I want just aggregations only on few columns like salary. I want to get total salaries, how much I am paying for a department wise, and I want to get count of each department, how many employees are there. Dep- Department wise, like we'll see these things. So just you can pass, you can like this, you can just you can whatever you want, max of salary you want perform or min of salary you want perform, you can just select that new field, whatever new field you want to get. And what is the input for salary, total salary I want to get, I need first what component will do, group by the department. So 10 related department ids, how many department are there, 10. So 10 department related 3 records are there, it will group that 3 records. And then it what I am asking to do that, I want to sum up the salaries for these 3 records. So how much I am paying for department wise, so 1000 and 50,000 and 1 lakh. So 1 lakh 51,000 I am paying for 10 department 10 people. So like that I just want to get that sum of salary. So that's where I'm using department wise total salary, and department wise how many employees I am paying that amount. So it's a 10, it's a 2 people or 3 people, I want that, I want to know that also, right? For department 10, how many number of employees I am paying that amount. So that is a count. So here you are able to see, it's because you are able to uh, visible, and you can able to say how much people are there, how much salary sum you. If you have a millions of data, it's not that easy, right? So you have to manually, so much work you have to do. Instead of that, we can go and use the process which can calculate whatever salary, whatever number of employees and department wise, you can able to get that using this aggregator component. So here I am going to select department. So first is department, and I want to get first. So only first record itself I will get a 10 for department ID. And second column I want a total salary. I want to sum on salary field. So sum on salary field. So this is the output column I am expecting total salary, and sum on input column is salary. Same way I want to get count of number of employees on each department, and I want to get the count using non employee id. So employee id. So like this 3 columns I am trying to capture by a function, aggregating functions, sum and count. So now I'm going to use a log row. So now you can see, right? So we are getting the, so 10 department, 3 people I am paying 1,51,000, and two people in department 20, I am paying 60,000, and one people in department 30, 4,000 I am paying. Now this data is again calculated, but it is not in a ascending order or something. Still you want to perform that kind of thing, what you can use T sort row, and you can see it will be easy to identify, right? You can easily see 10, where is a 10? Right now it's a 10, 20, 33. So you are able to, if you have a n number of departments, then you have to sort by department ID. So department ID, you can just sort it so that you can see in a ascending order of department. Each department you can able to see very quickly. You can identify after 10, 20 will come, 20 after 30 will come, like that you can go on ascending order. If you want to check for example 60th department related, how much I am paying, so simply you can by ascending the order you can see that, because this is not an input, right? In process you want to get that kind of sorted data before loading into the output, so that way you can easily identify. If it is in order, you can easily identify, right, what is having by department 10 and department 10, like this you are going to perform this. And I want to load this example, you want to load this onto table, so you can go and use our metadata. Just you can use the component. So I'm going to get this connection component. Okay, so I'm using a component connection, DB connection. So I want to load into the table. So T MySQL. Okay, so I want to cover one more component also. Just we can wait. So I want to hash this data. I want to use this multiple places within the job. So this aggregation data, I want to capture it in a within the job itself. I don't want to create any temporary file or a table immediately. So just I want to hash this data, and I want, whenever I want to use a multiple times I can use it. So there is a component. Yesterday we have seen that hidden components list. We have seen that hash input and output, right? These components, what is the purpose is, right? It will be hashed, like it will be, it's kind of cached in memory within this process. It's not going to be cleared till you manually like you have to configure. After reading it you have to clear that or something. Otherwise you can use a number of times within the job itself, but it will not create any temporary file or a temporary table or something. It will be in a memory. So you can use a, you want to store, first you want to load the data into the hash, so it will be hashed. So hashed is going to be store your data, and whenever you want to read that, you have to use reading means always input, writing means output. So first we are writing this data into the hash component, so you can use the t hash component which can store this data. Okay, if you go and on assign this to component, and you can deactivate this. So why we are using, we want to use this in a multiple places, or you want to get this data a number of times, you have to use it in memory. So you can see, right, cache in memory. So you can just have this data will be stored in your, and if you run n number of times also, it will keep append to the data. So 6 rows are there or 3 rows are there, what many rows you are going to get, it will keep append. So you can keep this all this configuration as it is. You no need to check anything in the advanced settings. So just I am going to run this one. So what will happen, it will just in memory it will store the data, and I want to use this data, I want to use anywhere in the next process, you can use that data. I'm just capturing the departments. So we have a 3 departments, and one more request is given by the customer. So I have a specific customer. So now you see, right, it is not printing or it is not storing anywhere. You can see that. So now one more requirement I'm adding to this. What I'm saying, you have calculated overall all the whatever departments are there and department related, how much you are paying salary and number of employees and all. So now input which is going to save only department. So whenever I pass the department ID, so this is another input I have. So from that, whatever you have calculated aggregation data we have here. So, but still, I don't want all the departments related information. I want only specific department related data. Whenever I pass that department number, I want that the department related information I want to see in the table or some I want to pass this value from context. So department, whenever I want any department number, I'm going to pass. Now I see, right, I don't have a context. So I'm going to check here. So you can get into your view. So here, right, I'm going to add department number. So, or whatever. So it's like a use. Whenever they ask, I want department 10. So I'm going to use this as a runtime. So I'm just going to use a runtime. Okay. So and what I want, so I have already calculated information I stored in main memory. So because this is a one time process, like a, this is not, I don't want all aggregation whatever you have done, I don't want to store any temporary table or a temporary file or something. That is what requirement. But when my job runs, it has to perform all the departments related, department wise how much salary I'm paying, total salary, and department wise in how many employees are there. That calculation you have performed and you have stored in a hash. So because I don't want a store in a that information again in a temporary file or a table, whatever location, you can do that way also, but requirement is you no need to store anywhere. You can just use in a hash, and when you are going to run the job, I am going to pass the which department I want to get the data, I want to see the data on my console. So 10 next flow I am creating, so this is going to perform on whole data and it will get department wise data and related whatever calculations we are done. So after that I'm going to get I want to get that specific department related data only. So input is I'm going to pass uh, now I want to from hash, or it is not a file or a database. From hash I want to read specific to do, I have to use as a lookup that one. So I'm going to use that as a, I want to read this hash output data, whatever stored in hash output. So I'm just going to give as a lookup this one. So whenever it matches with whatever user passed the department, it will matches with that output. So now you can see automatically it will link with the hash output. So now here is the option. After reading, you want to clear, you, or you have to keep it. You want to clear at the end another process also. You, in this process, what we are doing, we were specific department related data only I want to get. I don't want all the data. So hash is a in memory on the fly. You can use a number of places, same data. So what we have to join here, I want to join with department. So department ID, I just want to join with department ID. And I want to get for that particular department, I want to get that data. And here I want to use unique inner join, so matching department only. Okay, so now you have, if you have a huge millions of data on aggregations, you have to go and check temporary store on disk path and all. If you don't have, then no need to use that. path. So tmap and are all related this kind of intermediate components, you will have that option. So utilize that option to improve your processing time of your load. That's it. Only finally in my console. So console I want to see only 20 department related, not all the so this is how you are going to use the hash components which can
Krishna, you are not audible.